Oh gosh, I stand on stage and everyone gets quiet. Okay, I think we're ready to start. Welcome to our spring recital for the students of Mountain Valley Studios. Welcome to those who are watching us online. That's kind of a cool thing for out-of-town families to be able to tune in, and anyone else who for whatever reason couldn't join us in person today. This has been an interesting year, to say the least. I've learned some things I swore I would never incorporate into my teaching studio, like teaching lessons online. I always swore I would never, ever do that, and here I am. Now I know how to do it. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but now I know how. So if something ever happens, we have to do that again, I'm ready. So, it's been a crazy year. I think students have felt it in a way that parents haven't, and parents have felt it in a way that students haven't. And so, we've kind of worked with whatever the system is throwing at us this year, and I am ready for things to be normal again. So for those of you who don't know, I didn't realize that not all the parents knew that. The waiting room at the studio is open now. You are welcome to come in. You can, from in the waiting room, you can hear their lessons very well. And that's a good way for you to be able to know what's going on and what they're learning, what they might be struggling with, what they're supposed to be practicing at home. Gives me an opportunity to interact with you face-to-face for a few minutes before or after the lesson. And I think that adds a very valuable piece to the puzzle in their music education. So I encourage you, at least, maybe for the last few minutes of the lesson, to come on in and kind of listen through that wall. I mean, there's a few parents who come in, they know you can hear everything out there. So sometimes the kids like that you can hear everything out there. Sometimes they really don't. So, but anyway, I do think it's a very valuable thing to have the parents be able to be more aware of what they're learning in their lessons and things that we need to work on a little more and things like that. So feel free to do that. There's plenty of seating in there. You don't have to sit out in the gym. I have my own private waiting room in there. So anyway, that being said, I want to go over I like to give kind of what is the word? I just drew a blank. No, ethics. Yeah, concert etiquette lesson before we start, because not everybody has a lot of experience with going and watching live music performances. We have, I think, 21 students performing today. 12 of them have never played in a recital. So that's another kind of weird thing about this year. So we want to be careful to make sure that this is as positive of an experience for them as possible. So I would ask that you completely silence your cell phones. iPads with games, don't hand the kid next to you an iPad with a game. That's very distracting to the people trying to watch the recital from behind you. Things like if you need to use the restroom, try to do that. You'll see when the students are swapping out, try to get up and do that in between performances so that you're not climbing over people or causing a distraction to the student while they're playing. Restrooms are right out that door. Men's is on the right, women's is on the left. I don't even see a whole lot of little babies except for this little tiny thing on the front row. But I don't think she's going to cry much, huh? Yeah, she's a doll, don't you know? But if you have a small child that starts to get fussy, I just encourage you to just step outside the doors so that we're not distracting the students. Since they are fairly inexperienced, sometimes they don't know what to do with that when there all of a sudden is some kind of a commotion in the auditorium. They're learning, and I work on that with them. A big thing I teach them is how to perform successfully. So they learn how to keep going if they make a mistake. But the only way to learn how to deal with distractions is actually play in a recital and have to deal with it. So anyway, I want to thank Keith Mathis, had to remember his name because he's new this year, for videotaping for us. You all will get a video of the recital, all the parents of the students will, and he's also live streaming today so that those who couldn't be with us can watch online. So let's give him a hand, so thank you. Greatly appreciate his expertise because I have none in that department. So, and then I also want to thank Greg Woods in the back for once again coming and taking pictures of our students. You'll see him, he gets up on the stage, he's running all over the place. He gets amazing shots of your kids. So I encourage you to leave that to him. Feel free to take a picture, but please be careful not to block the view of people around you. Don't come up to the stage and take a picture during a performance. I promise you that child will stop playing. So don't do that. Let Greg do that. You know, they know to expect him to kind of be doing that. And he's like stealth cameraman. He's all over the place and you don't even notice him. So anyway, so just be careful of that. Let the video guy do his thing. Let the camera guy do his thing. And you just sit back and enjoy watching your child perform because that's what you're here for, right? So I think I'm done with my chatter there. My husband's nodding. Yes, you are. So we're going to start our recital today with one of my tiniest little students named June Brooks, you've been playing, what, about a year? Is that right? Something like that. And this is her very first recital. And then I'll mention that the boy right after her has only been playing for 4 months. So kudos to him for even being brave enough to get on the stage already this year. So let's give a hand to June as she comes up. was supposed to be Jude Webb, and he fractured his wrist, like really bad. So he's out for a couple of months. So unfortunately, we don't get to hear him play a little bit of Mozart and Beethoven today. Maybe once he heals up, we can polish it back up and I can post it to Facebook or something and y'all can hear it because he's really a fantastic player. So we'll move on to the next thing in the program. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, most of the songs don't have composers next to them, so I need to do my ethical obligation to let you know the ones that don't have a composer listed were written by the people who do their method books. So the ones that had different composers other than that I noted in there. So anyway, I want to mention a couple of things that you might have observed during this performance. Most of the students actually played with their music. I know a lot of teachers are very sticklers about you always perform by memory, always perform by memory, always perform by memory. I don't push that with my beginning students, and here's the reason why. I'm real big on teaching them every aspect of being a musician. Playing by memory is a very difficult skill. Playing in front of an audience is a very difficult skill. You put those two together, and it can make a difference between whether or not that child ever steps foot on a stage again. And so I'm real big on making sure if they're playing by memory, I believe they are ready to play by memory. I don't force it on them. Their first recital, usually I'm like, are you sure you want to play by memory? Usually I'm more cautious than they are. So that's why you see a lot of that. They're playing right out of their method books. Part of the reason for that is I'm also real big on they need to learn to perform, but I don't like to see it take away from progress in the early years of their lessons. So we don't do a fall recital and a spring recital and a summer recital because we've set aside everything to get ready for this, haven't we? So you've been focusing on these two songs for weeks, and so now they're all ready. Let's go on. Let's learn something new now. And so I prefer to be able to keep that progress going as much as possible. And then once they get to a certain point in their lessons, then you'll start seeing them bringing in pieces that aren't just in their lesson books. Or doing things like duets, like the Putnams did. And I'm telling you, they were not excited about that in the beginning. Mom was. The kids were not. But I try to take advantage of that. If I've got two kids in the same family that are at about the same level and I can find a duet, it's super important for them to learn how to work together like that in a music setting and in life. It's like planned adversity. It's character building as much as it is music education. But they did a great job, and I think in the end, they actually enjoy playing that together now. So anyway, so we're going to take a minute. I have some awards to hand out. Again, back on that, I like to focus on progress and their music development. I don't give awards like most outstanding student or most improved or things like that. I don't do that. Every student is basically in competition with themselves. It's always about, I want to get better, I want to get better, I want to keep improving, I want to keep improving and learning more and learning more. So the awards I get are acknowledging the individual accomplishments that each student has had throughout the year. So the awards I'm going to be giving are recognizing things like passing different book levels, mastering various different skills that they do once they get at more advanced levels of playing. So you'll notice some of that, just so you kind of understand what the award section of our recitals are, since I know a lot of you are new to recitals with Mrs. Brown. So I mainly do these in alphabetical order, but I'm going to make one exception today because I have one piano student who's going to come back and play flute, and she needs to have a chance to go warm up. So Lily Cooey, if you will come on up. Students, as I call your name, just come on up and take your award and stand in front of the piano, okay? Lily Cooey completed the Play Piano Now, Book 1. I know for a lot of you that one sounds a little different. It's a different book that I use for high school students who already have a little bit of background in music, like especially in band, because they're learning note reading a lot more in band. So Anyway, so just so you understand that book 1 of Play Piano Now, which she completed in 4 months of lessons, is the equivalent of all of level 1 and 2 of the books that the other kids use. So anyway, so she did that in 4 months. She's good job, Lily. Oh, go ahead and stay up here. And just stay up here and kind of line up in front of the piano. Okay, and next, oh, I need to stay in front of the microphone, don't I? Okay. Next is June Brooks, who completed her prep level A, which is the first book for the little kids. It's designed for their smaller hands. Okay, and Bo and Elsie completed both level B and level C this year. And Houston started out in the prep level books that's designed for the little kids, but he passed level F this year, which means he moves into the ones for the bigger kids. And Charlotte Griswell completed prep level D this year. And Isabel Hammock completed level 1A. Y'all just kind of scoot down and make room. And I don't know, we're not too formal about this part. Okay, and Brenner Jones completed level 1A. And Lily McClendon completed the complete level 1, which is 1A and 1B together. Scooch on down. Okay, and Simone Patterson completed level 1B this year. Okay, y'all are gonna have to squish on down. All right, there we go. Addison Rasmussen completed level D this year. And Emmeline Rasmussen completed level B. And Grace Webb completed level 2. And Zachary Webb completed level 1A. And Jude Webb completed level 5. So he has one level to go, and then we're just in the major repertoire. Okay, let's see. And then there are a few that aren't here. I'll go ahead and recognize them just in case they're watching online. Charlotte Weinbrenner completed level 1B. Audrey Weinbrenner completed level 1B and level 2 this year. And Savannah Mayfield, she completed level 4, and she passed all of her major 1-chord arpeggios. I know some of you that's a foreign language, but that's a big accomplishment. And all of her 5/7 chord arpeggios. So we'll give them a round of applause as well. Okay, so you all go back to your assigned seats for just a minute. Oh, Lily, you were supposed to go in the back and warm up. Sorry. Go ahead. You've still got a couple minutes. Okay, I want to recognize one other thing. Several of our students competed in a piano competition this year, and due to COVID, it was online again. So what that means is they learned their pieces, and then we had to record them in the studio and submit it through a private upload through YouTube so nobody could see it to the contest judges and everything. And so we had 9 students that competed in that. Unfortunately, this year our studio didn't have any winners or honorable mention, but I still want to recognize them because that is a big deal to participate in competition. They've got to master that piece at a completely different level than what they normally do in their lessons. I mean, we are all over all the dynamics. You've got to release every note correctly. You've got to pedal correctly. All your phrasing's got to be good. Your tempo needs to be right. It's a big deal. It has to be memorized, things like that. So I want to recognize them. So I'm gonna call out your name. And when I call out your name, just stand where you are. You don't have to come up here. Unfortunately, the certificates haven't come in the mail yet. Or their ratings. I don't know anyone's ratings. I just know that we didn't have a winner. So I always have to wait for all that to come in the mail. So they'll get that when I get them. I'll hand them out in their lessons. So let's see. Charlotte Griswell competed in level C at contest. Audrey Weinbrenner competed in, level 3, I think. And Charlotte Weinbrenner competed in level 2. Let's see, Brenner Jones. Go ahead and stay standing after I call your name. Brenner Jones competed in level C. Savannah Mayfield competed in level 6. Simone Patterson competed in level C. Anna Koslerich competed, was it level 3? In level 3. Bowen Elsie competed in level C. And Houston Elsie competed in level 3 also, right? Level 3? Was it? I think it was 3. I think you did the same one Anna did. Yeah, give yourself the extra boost. Come on. But they all did fantastic. The way that contest is set up is it's by levels instead of age groups. And so you don't have first-year students competing against 10th-year students just because they're the same age. You have, if they're competing in level 1, they're playing at level 1. And they all have to play the exact same piece, which is why they don't play their contest piece at recital, because if you noticed, I called out probably 4 kids in the same level a couple of times. And we don't want 4 kids to play the exact same song in the recital, I promise. So anyway, so good job, kids. You can sit back down. So hopefully we can do contest in person next year. Hopefully we can do everything in person by then. So our next thing on the program, if you notice, it's an instrumental performance by Lily Cooey on the flute, playing a piece called Poem by Charles Griffiths, and I will be accompanying her on the piano. Now, there's a reason why this is how I like to perform at the recital. There's a couple of reasons. One, I get scared too. But no, a big reason is these guys are learning how to play solo. They get that. Most people get what it means to play piano as a soloist. What I do professionally as a pianist, besides teaching, is I'm an accompanist. That the more common term for that now, I'm just old, so I call it an accompanist. They call it a collaborative pianist now. So we get a fancy name now. But it's because they're collaborating with other musicians. And so my job as the accompanist is to follow Lily. So no matter what she does, if she skips an entire section in her music, I have to figure out where she is, and I have to skip that section and catch up with her, okay? And so I always tell my soloists, it's my job to make it sound like every mistake is mine, okay? So if it sounds like I'm making mistakes, it's on purpose. No, not necessarily, but I like to claim that. So anyway, I like for the students to be able to see what that means, because it kind of opens their mind to new possibilities of what they might be able to do with their piano playing. This is something that it is in demand everywhere. Every band student or choir student who goes to solo contest has to have a pianist play with them. And I tell you, the band directors have a hard time finding pianists who know what they're doing with that, because it is a different skill than playing solo. So just so that they're aware what that even means. And so hopefully, I'm hoping that maybe I can find Jude and Savannah some opportunities to start learning how to do that this year. So it's fun. It's my favorite way to perform. I love working with people rather than doing it on my own. So all that to say, we are going to bring Lily Cooey up. You need your stands, don't you? I have one of them. Whoops. Sorry. I meant to let you be able to do that while I was talking.
want to start? Okay.
It was fun, though. I really love that piece. Okay, well, That is the end of our recital today. I want to thank you all again for coming. You've been a great audience. The kids have all done great. Thank you to everyone who tuned in online and watched our recital today. I think that stays like on YouTube to where you can even pull it up later if you want to. So, yes, okay. So y'all, all the parents have the link to that already, so you can go back and look at that. But you'll be getting photos and a finalized video too, right? Okay, so, oh, sorry. I don't like to talk after I play because now I'm like shaking and jittery. So anyway, so that's it. Oh, we need to do a real quick group photo before all the kids take off. But other than that, we are done. We're not doing cookies after this time, so.